Hello and welcome to the Tough Cover Podcast, episode 33 of the Tough Cover Podcast, right here on the Painted Lines. You can follow the Painted Lines at the Painted Lines on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, and follow me right there, at Mark Henry Jr. _ and follow the pod at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, we will be talking baseball and basketball bets of the night. Just so you know, you should be taking these bets because I went 2-0 yesterday after going 7-2 the day before. So I am 9-2 in my last 11 bets. I'm 13-2 in my last 15 basketball bets, and I'm 16-4 in my last 20 basketball bets. So I am feeling the heat right now. I'm red hot, trying to keep the streak going, and I'm actually going on a vacation this weekend, so this is the last Tough Cover Pod of the weekend. I will be tweeting out my plays every day this weekend, and you can get those at Mark Henry Jr. _ as I already mentioned. I will tweet them out since we won't be having daily Tough Cover podcasts. So we will be talking basketball and baseball on tonight's show, or on today's show, I should say. It's a quick morning edition. Since I gotta go drive 6 hours, so had to get this in quick at 9 a.m. So the lines will be a little differently than they will be, I'm sure, in a couple hours if you're watching this later or a little closer to the games. I took these lines from last night and early this morning. So before we get to those picks and before you guys get to take those bets and go bet them, the right spot to bet them is at BetRivers, and you can go to BetRivers and it'll let you know that the Painted Lines sent you. And for a word on that, here is our sponsors at XL Media.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover Podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
Don't miss out on that opportunity for some free money. So please go and check that out, and it'll let them know at BetRivers that the Painted Lines sent you. So let me go on with today's show. We are going to talk about the NBA slate and the MLB slate. I believe I have, that is 4 NBA picks, and I have 3 baseball picks. So 4 NBA picks, 3 baseball picks for a total of 7 picks, and 7 is my lucky number. So we will roll with that. Please leave your comments in the stream right here. Leave any picks you may have or any questions you may have for me about my picks. And here we go. Starting off at 3 o'clock in a game that I will not get to watch. I'll probably be going through Washington, D.C. or going through Virginia, something like that at that time. I have the Indiana Pacers plus 10.5 at the Utah Jazz for 1 unit at 3 o'clock. I got this line early, and it has since moved to 9.5, where I would still take it. Indiana has won 4 of its last 5 games after losing 4 of 5, so they've really turned it around a little bit as of late. In their last 5 games, the Pacers are second in the NBA with a 119.5 offensive rating, which will help them out a lot against a very good offensive team in the Utah Jazz, who live and die by the three-point shot. They beat up on bad defensive teams hard for that very reason. Over the last 10 games, the Jazz reliance on the three-point shot has increased even more so. A staggering 50.1% of their shots are from beyond the arc, the most in the NBA over the last 10 games by 4.1% over the Celtics. So no one else is above 46%. They're shooting over 50% of their shots total from beyond the three-point arc. That's an absolute ton of threes. And to help that, to counteract against Utah's three-point shooting, the Indiana Pacers are allowing 34.9% shooting from beyond the arc over its last 10 games, allowing the least threes in the NBA over that span. The Jazz are 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 games, coming off back-to-back non-covers against the Thunder and the Washington Wizards, the latter being a loss. So I do think that you have to note that this Utah Jazz team is not the same Utah Jazz lean, mean cover machine that they were to start the year. They are a mess as of late. They almost lost to the Thunder 2 nights ago. They let Lou Dort drop 42. The Wizards beat them in Utah. So those are 2 really weird games back-to-back. They could have a huge bounce back and blow Indiana out of the water, but the teams that they blow out of the water don't defend the 3 very well, and Indiana does defend the 3 very well. So I expect Indiana to hang in this game and to make this a very competitive afternoon day basketball game, and who doesn't love that? So let's move on to my next matchup at 7 o'clock. The Philadelphia 76ers are facing off with the Los Angeles Clippers. Last night, this bet was around -1. I think it's around -2.5 or 3 points now. I went with the 76ers money line versus the Clippers for 1 unit, just a small play. So the Clippers are excellent defensively by almost every metric. But the big man is a question. They are not great on the interior. So, and then this is very similar to the Celtics, who have great defensive wings. They're very similar to the Toronto, who has great defensive wings and guards. But when you don't have that big and you're going against Joel Embiid, at least this year's 2021 version of Joel Embiid, you are screwed. He's going to take advantage of every mismatch possible. It's not the old Joel where he'll just settle for long jumpers or for bad shots. He is going to make you pay if you put someone on him that can't cover him. So I don't know who the Clippers are going to put on him. They might want to put Zubats. I don't know. Serge, I think, is out. So I think they're going to have a lot of problems against Joel Embiid. And obviously the big question mark here is Kawhi Leonard. Is Kawhi Leonard going to play tonight? Him and Paul George both didn't play last game. I expect Paul George to play tonight, and I expect a lot of the other guys who sat out to play. Kawhi, I'm not sure because he has sat out a couple games. So that's going to be a big question mark. And if he doesn't play, this line will shoot up. Maybe that's already what's happening. Maybe there's rumors that he's not playing, and that's why the line's shooting. I don't know. But I got this at a -1. So even if you took it right now, you get a hell of a value. So if he does play, it's probably a pick 'em. So win-win. You're not losing that much juice or value. I would take the Sixers money line, even if Kawhi plays. Like I said, they don't have an answer for the rightful MVP, Joel Embiid. So moving on to the 8 o'clock matchup in the MLB, my first baseball pick of the day. I'm going with the Toronto Blue Jays money line at the Kansas City Royals for 1 unit. Steven Matz and Mike Minor is a matchup of 2 lefties I've always liked more than most people, more than consensus. But these are 2 lineups that I like more than most. So this will be an interesting matchup for me. I'm going to rock with Steven Matz. After 2 phenomenal starts, I'm willing to believe he's turned back the clock all the way back to 2016 when he was a hot new name, even if Pat Moran doesn't believe it. I believe in Steven Matz. He's on my fantasy team. Mike Minor's been on my fantasy team this year, but he has struggled a couple times, even in one win. So I'm going to rock with Steven Matz over Mike Minor in a matchup of 2 lefties that I've bet on an absolute ton. Vladdy hit a ball last night. Vlad Guerrero Jr., for those of you who don't know, Vlad Guerrero's senior son plays first base, I believe, for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Vladdy hit a ball last night that hasn't landed yet, so he's getting hot right at the right time. Kevon Biggio getting back on track a little bit, hitting a little better. Bo Bichette doing his thing. Toronto just took 2 out of 3 from the New York Yankees, the Savages in the box. KC coming off 3 straight wins. They've got to be due for a loss here with Mike Minor struggling on the mound. This is going to be a really fun matchup. I don't feel super confident. One of my least confident picks of the day, but I do like that Toronto Blue Jays team this year, so I'm rolling with them. And then with 2 baseball picks, I'm a little more confident in than that Blue Jays pick. I'm going with the Milwaukee Brewers -1.5 versus the Pittsburgh Pirates for 1 unit. Shout out to PFT commenter. I think I'm going to join him in betting against the Pirates every single game and every single day. It seems like a wild ride, but as long as it's within reason, I will be keeping track of these Pirates lines every day going forward. Adrian Hauser for the Milwaukee Brewers is pitching absolutely great. And the Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, Adrian Hauser, 1, 2, 3, appear, at least to the start of the season, to be a very imposing 1, 2, 3 of a rotation that has long needed an infusion of young talent for the future and to have a top couple guys going forward. And it appears that they've found 3 solid top-of-the-line starters here. If the Brewers have a legit top 3, I think it changes the complete complexion of their team due to their amazing bullpen, and due to their rock-solid lineup when healthy. Now, health is a factor with Yelich missing time as of late and last year. Even if he doesn't play, I like this play today, and the next bet I'm going to give you anyway, but I definitely hope Yelich plays. Speaking of their rock-solid lineup, we are at my best bet, my play of the day, my lock of the night in the same game. Hold on, let me take a swig of coffee for the working man. I think that this is my best bet. This is my favorite baseball bet I've seen so far this year because I've been taking it so often. I'm going with the Brewers team total over 4 runs for it's either 2.5 or 3 units. I'm going to say 3 units for now. I will be tweeting out these plays with the official unit mark. But in the last 5 games, the Brewers have scored 6+ runs 4 times, and that has been mostly without Yelich and Lorenzo Cain. So the other Brew Crew bats who you really don't expect to really get up there and put some runs on the board are chirping. Pirates have given up 5+ runs in 7 of their 13 matchups, so that's not a staggering number or anything, but it tells you that they've given up those amount of runs in more games than they haven't. So it's still in the positive there. The Pirates seem to either win or get blown out. And in this case, it doesn't even matter to me as long as the Brewers bats show up. JT Brubaker for the Pittsburgh Pirates has had a solid start to the season, but I don't expect it to continue. He is still JT Brubaker. So I think that the Milwaukee Brewers handle Brubaker. They will bake up some brews of their own, and the Brewers score some runs. Brewers team total over 4 runs for 3 units. So now we get back to the NBA. I'm finishing off with 2 NBA picks, but before we talk about those NBA picks, let's bring up Josh Karaiskakis' comment. Royals were up 7-0 last night, and the Jays made it 7-5 by the end of the game. I didn't follow that game, actually, but yeah, I did see that the Royals jumped out to an early lead on Twitter because I saw some home runs and stuff. So, but I do expect Toronto to bounce back today, and like you said, Toronto fought hard even in that game that they were down huge early. So I expect a win out of the Toronto Blue Jays. So at 2:30, I have the Portland Trail Blazers money line at the San Antonio Spurs for 2 units. The Blazers are coming off of 2 brutal hard luck losses to Boston and Miami. After a hot March, the Blazers have struggled to open April, winning 2 of the last 6 games and 1 of the last 4 games. This normally would worry me, but the Spurs are also 2-6 in April, struggling even more than Portland. The Blazers should be fully healthy and intact for this game, and the Spurs' lack of bigs will hurt them in this matchup and almost every matchup. It has become clear the way you attack either of these defenses is on the interior, and neither of these teams have that dominant interior offensive threat. But the Blazers definitely have the advantage with Yusuf Nurkic, not to mention their scoring from outside, which obviously helps them penetrate. I think Lillard should be a legitimate MVP candidate if Nikola Jokic is. I've said that many times. The Blazers attempt 42 threes per game as opposed to the Spurs 29 per game, and the Blazers shoot it at 38%, while the Spurs are well below league average at 35%. In the modern NBA, I'll go with a team that has a major advantage on the outside. So that means in this matchup, I'm riding with Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers over the Spurs, in part because if it's a close game, you want that number 0 Lillard clocking in to Dame time at the end of the game. So that is my pick in that game. Moving on to my last pick of the night, the New York Knicks plus 5.5 at the Dallas Mavericks for 2 units. I can literally copy paste what I had to say here from Wednesday. This is out of even more loyalty to the Knicks due to how good they've been to me from a spread perspective, especially as of late. They came through again on Wednesday for me. The Knicks have now won 4 consecutive games and have covered 8 consecutive games against the spread. Since the start of that streak, they have posted a plus 6-point differential, 10th best in the league, which is a significant increase from their season average of +1 after struggling shooting 3-pointers as a rookie and early this season. RJ Barrett has shot 45% from deep since the start of February. RJ Barrett has clearly been playing the best basketball of his career lately. He is just one of 5 players in the NBA who is averaging at least 18 points and 5 rebounds while shooting over 42% on three-pointers over the last 3 months. The others, pretty good company. Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Zach LaVine, Stephen Curry. Pretty damn good. So RJ Barrett is absolutely killing it as of late. Definitely changes my outlook on him as a player going forward. And then you look at Julius Randle, the most important or most improved player, front runner, just had his first back-to-back 30-point nights of the season. The Knicks will also need Randle and RJ Barrett to step up as playmakers. They are more than capable, as Randle's assist rate, 27%, ranks in the 98th percentile among bigs, and RJ Barrett ranks among the 80th percentile among wings. Then you look at another player that's been important for the Knicks. Alec Burks has been the Knicks wild card recently. Wild card, bitches. Shout out Charlie Kelly of It's Always Sunny fame. Kind of in a Shake Milton role here for Alec Burks, which is funny because they were teammates last year. But having scored 19 or more points or 8 or fewer points in the last 8 games, Alec Burks is like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get. As everyone knows, I love Luka Doncic, and betting against him for me is painful. Literally hurts my soul. Thankfully, I had Memphis plus 2.5 and not money line the other night, or Luka would have broken my heart with that leading 3-point floater to win the game. That's a shot really only Luka would take or make in that moment, and that's part of why I'm just so addicted to watching him play. But I just don't believe in the Mavs supporting cast around Luka to get the job done in almost any close game as of late, but they did obviously against Memphis. I hate what they've done in recent off seasons and trade deadlines. I would have loved to see them make a move for a defensive piece like Miles Turner is something that I've always brought up that I thought could be a really interesting fit with Dallas, and I thought he could really fit with Kristaps and Luka. But it appears that Mark Cuban's only interested in white players and European players. So in the Kristaps Porzingis Revenge Bowl, I'll side with the New York Knickerbockers, who keep this one close in a low-scoring affair. Knicks plus 5.5. Now you're in New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing the Knicks can't do. It's up to you. New York, New York. Knicks plus 5.5. So before I read out my picks for the night and recap them a little bit for you guys, let me show you guys a little something over lines. Podcast WWE podcast. Mark, and there will be a lot more information on that in the coming weeks. I don't think there will be an episode this weekend, but next weekend, stay tuned because I do think we will be back at it just like we were for WrestleMania. And so you can get a little taste of what the kind of old kind of wrestling we're going to be talking about. I don't think it's going to be as current as the last WrestleMania stream. So you guys can get a taste of the guys I like and the guys I follow and the eras that I want to talk about. Here's a quick intro for you guys. Hang tight. I'll give my picks after the break. Now that's a great intro package, and that's the bottom line because I said so. So let me get to my picks real fast, and then we will get out of here. I got the Pacers plus 10.5 at the Utah Jazz for 1 unit. I've got the 76ers money line versus the Clippers for 1 unit. I've got the Blue Jays money line at the Royals for 1 unit. I've got the Brewers minus 1.5 versus the Pirates for 1 unit. I've got the Brewers team total over 4 for 3 units. I have the Blazers money line at the Spurs for 2 units. And I have the New York Knicks plus 5.5 at the Mavs for 2 units. Those are my plays of the day. My bet of the day, my play of the day, my lock of the night is Milwaukee Brewers over 4 runs team total. So lock it in. My best bet is 23 and 16, 23 and 17. I can't figure it out. I think it's 23 and 16. I'll have to do the research. But thank you for joining the show. Josh, thank you for commenting. Please leave your comments going forward in the future. If you watch this late, I will be posting when I'll do this going forward, probably 5 o'clock-ish next week from Monday through Friday. So please leave your comments in the stream. It makes the show a lot more enjoyable to interact with you guys. I love going back and forth with the degenerate gamblers of the Painted Lines community. So thank you guys for being a part of the Tough Cover Click, and enjoy the winners and enjoy the weekend.